Hugely.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, the Green Party is very, very happy to support the Southland District Council Stewart Island Rakiura Visitor Levy Empowering Bill. Obviously we recognise that Stewart Island Rakiura is one of the jewels, one of the treasures in New Zealand, New Zealand's landscape. It is, and of course, I haven't actually been, regrettably, to Stewart Island myself, but I'm looking forward to doing so. But it is one of the great tourism gems of New Zealand, and it is little wonder that it attracts 36,000 or more visitors. So why on earth shouldn't all of these visitors who come to Stewart Island contribute in some way to the upkeep of that magnificent part of New Zealand? Why should it be left to 300 or 400 local Stewart Islanders to have to bear the burden of trying to keep the infrastructure, the tourism infrastructure for 36 or more thousand tourists? So we can see no reason why we should not be charging tourists a very small levy, $5. Some of the previous Labour speakers have talked about a $5 levy, which the member Eric Roy has said would be the maximum levy that would be envisaged, that this could somehow detract or divert tourists from going to Stewart Island. I think this is I think it is totally untrue. A $5 levy, I think tourists actually would be surprised that they were able to go and enjoy such magnificent treasures in our world without contributing in some small way to the upkeep of that tourism treasure. So I think that it is absurd to suggest that somehow that is going to keep visitors away. And I think that, as I say, the principle that tourists should contribute to the upkeep of a great tourism attraction is one that we would strongly support. It's interesting, I note that there are precedents. It's interesting, Bhutan, for example, it certainly used to, I think it still does, looks at the debt that it has for the year, then divides that debt up according to how many tourists they want to allow into their country, and every tourist has to pay quite a substantial fee to go to Bhutan, and that pays off contributes to their national debt. Now that certainly hasn't detracted tourists from going to Bhutan. Bhutan is, I think there are tourists clamouring to go to Bhutan, and I'm sure that there will always be tourists clamouring to go to the Stewart Island, whether or not there is a $5 levy that they have to pay when they fly in or catch the boat. So I think it is a very sensible provision. I notice that the people in Stewart Island, certainly the Southland District Council, they're fortunate because before they would introduce such a levy, they will be allowed under this bill to have a special consultative procedure. So there will actually be a special consultation in the area to discuss whether or not they should make a bylaw and allow this levy to be introduced. And why I say that this is interesting and why they're fortunate indeed is that most of the rest of New Zealand, under some legislation that Rodney Hyde and the national government has just introduced into this parliament, they are removing our ability to have a special consultative procedure for something like privatising our water supplies for 35 years. They're removing that special consultative procedure and not allowing even that basic consultation. So it is very fortunate that this bill does allow that special consultation. One last point I'd like to make is that we do have a real worry that Stewart Island could still be on the government's hit list for mining. And of course, it was in one of the original areas and one of the original lists for mining. Obviously, it's not in Schedule 4, but it still, in our view, is under threat because the government is now taking a stocktake of the entire conservation estate, and that does include Stewart Island. So we sincerely hope that Stewart Island's magnificence will be protected from mining, and we welcome this bill as a way of
Sorry
protecting
to interrupt the member.
it through
Her
the
time has
imposition of a
expired.